Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the second episode of the Esports trilogy. Today we're going to talk about the popular esports genres or franchises and the grand esports events. The global esports market is expected to surpass 1 billion US dollars in 2021. That is a 14% growth from last year. Meanwhile, the global esports audience is also expected to surge to over 728 million worldwide. With so much potential at stake, it makes sense to channel your time and energy into the important information that is filled with potential, while having an eye open for the future. Some people may be more interested in ranks and orders, such as the list of popular games ranked by the number of professional players, and the list of big prizes by the amount of money. But I didn't prepare any real ranked lists here. For one thing, the ranks and orders may be arguable, especially when the items show differences according to different statistical procedures. For another, the non-numeric information is as abundant as the numbers, and I must organize them together as a whole. As a result, I prepared enumerated lists instead, which are flat, neither ranked nor hierarchical. These rules apply to episode 31 and episode 41. You will see what I mean later. Another thing is, the esports franchises and events are rich in numbers, so I cannot talk about all of them in the lists. Instead, I just picked some representative items as instances. As always, I'm open to any arguments and comments if you feel like saying something. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support is my motivation. Now, let's first talk about the worldwide popular esports games. The top 5 games are quite consistent in most countries that are open to the esports industry. Dota 2 is an action real-time strategy game developed and published by Wave Corporation. It's a standalone sequel to the Warcraft III custom map, Defense of the Ancients, or Stars. For short, Dota, or Stars, or simply Dota. Development of Dota 2 began in 2009, when the current developer of the Dota A mode, IceFrog, was hired by Wave as lead designer. Dota 2 was released in 2013 as a free-to-play game on all platforms and is a direct competitor to another popular game, League of Legends. Since then, Dota 2 has captured the fascination of the gaming community. It is played both professionally and casually by millions of passionate fans worldwide for its gripping mobile action or strategic gameplay. MOBA is the acronym for Multiplayer Online Battle Arena, where two teams of players compete against each other on a predefined battlefield. The standard Dota game consists of two teams of 5 characters. Each team has the goal of protecting their own fortress while destroying the opposition of the other side of the map. Each character on the map has its own unique ability and can be controlled by the players. At the beginning of the match, the goal is to earn gold by fighting their opponents, which in turn makes their characters stronger. When Team A manages to fight through Team B's armies and destroy their opposing fortress, the game is over and Team A wins. Dota 2 is famous for its annual tournament, the International. The competition is widely regarded as a major event in the esports community and features a whopping prize pool of over 30 million US dollars. I'll go back to this tournament in a few minutes. Counter-Strike Global Offensive, for short CSGO, is a multiplayer FPS developed by Wave. By the way, FPS is the acronym for first-person shooter. Although quite old, CSGO is still regarded as one of the most popular esports games, having one of the largest fan-based communities in the world. It is the focal point of many major tournament events since its first release in 2012. If you are new to the Counter-Strike series, the game comprises 2 teams, being the terrorists and counter-terrorists. The task of each team is to eliminate the other while also completing separate objectives that depend on the game mode. The terrorists must either plant the bomb or defend the hostages, whereas the counter-terrorists must either prevent the bomb from being planted, defuse the bomb, or rescue the hostages to win the match. The CSGO Majors is considered the most prestigious esports tournament for the game, which consists of 24 teams from all over the world. The event features a $1 billion prize pool. Fortnite is a third-person shooter survival game that was launched by Epic Games in 2017. The game has 3 distinct game modes, with the most popular being the highly addictive Battle Royale. At the start of the Battle Royale, you will be taken aboard a battle bus and airdropped across the game's expansive map with 100 other players. After landing, the goal is to scavenge for weapons, items, resources, and even vehicles to have the best chance of eliminating all other opponents. Unlike many other conventional third-person shooters, Fortnite gives its users the ability to create defenses and structures around them at a rapid pace. This can help in protecting against other players during the combat and creates a greater technical aspect to the game. The highly anticipated Fortnite World Cup is the largest event in the circuit. The competition generates a prize pool of up to 30 million US dollars, which just shows how big the game has grown. Fortnite is regularly updated, along with the maps at the end of each season. League of Legends, for short LOL, is a decade-old game that is still going strong to this day. It was developed and published by Riot Games and has become very popular on mobile. The gameplay principles are similar to other MOBAs, as it is also a 5 vs 5 team game, where you and your teammates try to win by destroying the enemy's base. In LOL, players assume the role of a virtual summoner that controls a champion. The champion is a character that has its own unique abilities and skills. The role of the protagonist is to fight against the other team, or the computer-controlled champions. The goal is to destroy the Nexus, which is a structure at the center of the opposition's arena. There are various League of Legends tournaments that take place throughout the year, but the biggest one is the LOL World Championship. In the World Championship, teams compete for the so-called Smolder's Cup and a prize pool of over $1 million. StarCraft II is a military science fiction real-time strategy game developed and released by Blizzard Entertainment for PC and Mac. As a sequel to the award-winning 1998 video game StarCraft and its expansions, the game was released worldwide on July 27, 2010. It is split into 3 installments: the base game with the subtitle Wings of Liberty, and 2 expansion packs, Heart of the Swan and the Legacy of the Void. The setting and background may sound extravagant and complex if you're hearing it for the first time. So, set in the 26th century in a distant part of the Milky Way galaxy, the game revolves around 3 species: the Terrans, human exiled from Earth; the Zerg, a super species of assimilated life forms; and the Protoss, a technologically advanced species with vast mental powers. Wings of Liberty focuses on the Terrans, while the expansions Heart of the Swan and Legacy of Void will focus on the Zerg and Protoss, respectively. The StarCraft II World Championship Series is Blizzard's own league for the game. It is separated into 3 distinct regions around the world. WCS points are awarded to each region, as well as WCS partnered events. The top 16 players with the most points qualify for the global finals at BlizzCon, where they compete for a $250,000 cash pool. Another game, Honor of Kings, the most successful product of Tencent Games, is also played by as many professional players as the other games. Technically, it is also a 5 vs 5 mobile game, but it runs only on smartphones. Roughly speaking, the idea is similar to the League of Legends, but with legends from the Chinese culture. By the way, the Chinese version of LOL is acquired by Tencent Games, while the many LOL-related events in China are hosted by Tencent Esports. Another point is, the settings and backgrounds of Honor of Kings are totally in Chinese. As a result, most gamers are Chinese speakers. It is not really an international game, though. Its influence on the Chinese esports industry is as big as those from the aforementioned games. Other games like Overwatch and Hearthstone are also popular, but I have to skip them here. Esports has come a long way in popularity and profitability. From its humble beginnings, the industry weathered countless bouts of stigma and desolation to become one of the fastest-growing sources of entertainment in the world. Relative to the evolution of video games, esports underwent various eras that eventually led to the current condition it inhabits. From the cramped halls of dorms in the 1970s to the mega indoor stadiums of the 2020s, esports' appeal and history grew to transcend the old stereotype that branded players as hopeless social rejects. No longer do these rejects reside in their mother's garage to play their favorite games. They compete and practice in the same realm as traditional athletes and hold the interests of prominent investors. That is how they live with esports as a profession. They compete in the grand esports tournaments and leagues. So you might be wondering, what is the biggest esports tournament then, in terms of prize pool and viewership? Well, it is a more than legitimate question. Nowadays, when people hear esports, they don't think of it as a putrid pastime. They treat it as a bona fide money-making venture coming from the esports' biggest prize pool. The International coming into first place is no surprise to anyone familiar with esports. The Dota 2 centerpiece even cracks in the list as the biggest esports tournament around, boasting the biggest esports prize in over $40 million for its 10th edition. Wave looks set to distribute the winning of each of the participating 18 teams based in 6 regions. The winner will take home nearly $18 million. The latest 2-week-long Dota 2 festival was originally slated for August 2020 in Stockholm, Sweden, but it was postponed for next year due to the global pandemic. The Swedish government failed to designate esports as an official sport, prompting Wave to relocate the event to Bucharest in Romania. Pending further changes, the International 10 will occur to October 7th to October 17th in Bucharest, approximately 2 months after its original date. Epic Games threw their first major esports event for their flagship game with a massive ban, with $30 million up for grabs in 2 events, solo and duo. The Fortnite World Cup Finals hosted 200 eager players who looked to make their mark on the game's nascent history, with the Arthur Ashe Stadium in Flushing, New York serving as a main setting. Fortnite crowned Kyle Giersdorf as its first world champion after winning the single event, beating 99 other players. Additionally, he won $3 million in prize money, becoming one of the esports' richest players overnight. In the duels, Europeans Emil Nyrox Peterson and David Kwan outlasted 49 other players to win $3 million of their own. From February 5th to March 28th, PUBG held its first major event of the 2021 season with the PUBG Global Invitational S2021. It was a 32-team tournament with $7.1 million in prize money, which happens to be the largest in the game's history. The original prize pool was $3.5 million, but thanks to crowdfunding and other monetary guarantees, it doubled to $7.1 million, with teams participating in 3 distinct locations. PGIS lasted for 2 months of league play, culminating in an extraordinary finale. When the dust settled, Susquehanna Sonics became world champions and earned the grand prize of more than $1 million. LOL Worlds is likely the most watched esports event in history. With its 2018 iteration attracting nearly 100 million viewers, it is by so far the largest esports tournament by audience count. The prize purse for Worlds is never high enough to compete with the likes of the International or the Fortnite World Cup, but was still a decent $6.7 million in 2018, up from $4.5 million in 2017. Riot Games' objective was never to award huge prize purses, as most teams in the competitive ecosystem already have franchise leagues and profit-sharing deals. However, with such a huge audience count, their humble prize funds are still up there among the biggest prize pools in esports history. This year, the tournament heads back to China for a multi-city, multi-venue extravaganza, starting on the 27th of September. Just keep an eye on it if you are interested in developing playing or watching LOL as a new hobby. Similar to other tournaments and leagues, the Honor of Kings Champion Cup has also been promoting the popularity of the game. As you may have already guessed, the Champion Cup is always held in China. It is also a multi-city, multi-venue extravaganza. Tencent Esports has revealed that the prize pool of 2021 Honor of Kings World Champion Cup will be rising up from 32 million to 50 million Chinese yuan, which is more than 7.6 million US dollars. It is a long competition with complex rules. If you're interested, you can Google up the 2021 Honor of Kings Champion Cup. While the esports tournaments are undergoing quick expansion, esports betting is increasing in popularity as well. The whole pattern of esports events and betting is similar to, if not the same as, the traditional sports events and betting. With the creation of various esports betting websites, fans can wager their money with the potential of incurring a hefty profit. Even so, the appeal of accurately predicting the winner of a match isn't the only thing in esports betting. People can also wager on specific situations to happen in a game, just the same as in football. I mean, European football. Although people can bet in whatever tournament they prefer to cover, it doesn't hurt for them to try their luck in the biggest events esports has to offer. With this perspective, the possibilities of betting are practically endless. So, that's all for today's video. I briefly introduced the 6 popular esports franchises and 5 esports tournaments. Has any of it aroused your interest in playing or watching esports? Which game would you like most to try? Which esports events seem to be the most attractive to you? Do you prefer to watch it in the stadium or live online? Feel free to leave a message. And don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.